I'm with you 100% in the whole feminism versus the sex industry argument. Feminism, or at least feminism as I understand it, is about promotion of women's rights and interests in the quest for gender equality. Not special rights, but equality. And that includes the freedom to do something that someone else might disapprove of, or think is bad for you, or may consider to be in poor judgment. What gets me most about many of the anti-sex industry proponents is their hypocrisy. They aren't honest enough to say that what they really don't like is the idea of sex being sold. Watching the videos from the Anti-Sex for Sale Brigade, it seems quite a significant number of them have a problem with sex in general. And rather than voice their disgust with sex or their moral objection to the idea of people selling sexual services, we hear about the problems of abuse and exploitation and slavery, as if these are restricted to the sex industry. And it's missing the point. The problem with people being abused, exploited or enslaved in the sex industry is not that these people are in the sex industry, it's that they're being abused, that they're exploited, that they're enslaved. All of these things are injustices that need to be fixed, no matter what the social context. Noel Plum 99 made a great video about this, and I've put a link in the description box. It's quite a lengthy clip, it runs to nearly half an hour, but it's worth watching all the way through. He says everything that I'd like to say and more. In particular, he identifies a group of people as communist feminists, or femunists. And I want to echo that the underlying patronising view held by these people that women are nothing more or less than the helpless victims of some patriarchal conspiracy is probably the most disempowering and anti-feminist view of all. This obsession with the sex industry annoys me because I think it's a distraction. It's using Abrahamic morality, regardless of whether the proponent considers themselves to be religious or otherwise, to try and control other people's behaviour using arbitrary social judgments about their character, stereotyping anyone who works in the sex industry as exploited, and that if they aren't ashamed of it, then they damn well should be, because it's degrading and no decent person would want to do that. But it's not really the exploitation that seems to worry them as much as the sex. And that strikes me as being just another manifestation of the Abrahamic goal, trying to control people's sexuality, and in particular the sexuality of women. I think there are other issues that we should be focusing on. Let's pay more attention to the fact that most industries in this world, men and women, are working side by side, doing the same jobs, and getting paid different amounts, women usually earning significantly less than men. Let's look at why, in a country where over 50% of the electorate are women, we have 4 women out of a newly formed cabinet of 23 people. Feminism is not anti-men or about putting women in control over men. It's about making sure that men and women are treated equally. It's about ensuring that women are given the same opportunities, are empowered, and are protected by the law to the same extent that men are. It's about ensuring that women are as free as men to make their own choices and subsequently take responsibility for their own mistakes. And if, for some women, that choice is to make money by selling sexual services, then that choice is theirs to make, and the responsibility for the consequences of that choice is theirs to own. To suggest otherwise, that no one would make that choice freely, or that any woman who makes that choice is wrong, is patronising, hypocritical, and undermines the argument that women are entitled to equal treatment. And the people who make that argument, however they want to label themselves, are not feminists.